Today's video is sponsored by Famous Faces and Funnies, located in Melbourne, Florida, as well as Docking Bay 94, located in Boca Raton, Florida, and Ian's Display Stands. Click on the link below, and remember, shipping is nationwide. Welcome to another exciting episode of Codename New2 Hi, I'm your presenter, GIJoe, and today we're going to do another GIJoe Classifieds recap looking at Gung Ho. And we're going to do things a little bit backwards. I'm going to look at some iconic figures and the actual classified figure itself, and then go into the mythos. Of course, we have to start with the version 1 from 1983. What makes this figure really special is that it's one of the new characters that were introduced after the 1982s were reissued in 83 with the new articulation, the swivel arm. But the one thing that even diehard fans always mess up is that his specialty isn't marine. His specialty is jungle warfare Recondo. Ironically, the next year Recondo will be issued. Of course, this figure is iconic thanks to his not-so-exact Marine Corps tattoo on his chest and his herringbone cap. Ron Rudat adds that this figure is close to his heart because it reminds him of his dad and his uncle who served in World War II. Speaking of dads, we come to version number 2 in 1987. Now, this figure means a lot to me. If you want to see what my dad looks like, this is exactly what he looks like, with the mustache and everything and the tan skin. My dad was a Marine during the Vietnam era, so getting this figure was really important to me. The other thing to add is that initially, if Sunbow created another season for season 3, they would have Gung Ho be featured more in like a supervisor role model unit to Falcon, Jinx, and all those introduced. I always found that to be interesting. Besides his ceremonial saber, his chevron stickers are the most important and often missing elements. I have it backwards. So next we're going to move to the 25th anniversary edition. This is an excellent modern update to the version 1. Notice the herringbone cap on him is it's easy. Oh, there it goes. Another thing about these modern figures, they're not made as toys or for kids. There's this one, I don't know if anybody else has difficulty with their 25th, is so delicate and flimsy that if you look at it wrong, it just falls over. Maybe it's just my example. But anyway, it does a good job with the backpack and his XM76 grenade launcher. I don't have it shown on mine because I have it in 2 pieces because you could lose that thing so easily. So I just stored mine away. But again, a very excellent job with the modern representation of the iconic version 1 figure. I like this one a lot. Alrighty, now it's time to crack open the GIJoe Classifieds Gung Ho. Now this is what you would consider wave 2 of this series. And again, we look at the artwork on the side. I think it's so-so. The one thing that I have to point out is when you look at it, you can't identify him as being a Marine right away. And first and foremost, his hat looks more like an army hat. And I know our good friend HCC, when he did it, he pointed that out too. But he looks more like a future soldier, period. Doesn't look like a Marine. And as always, we break out the trusty Craftsman knife and we're gonna, open this thing. This is number 7 of the Classified series. And again, if you want to look up those insignias on GIJoe.com, help yourself. And here we go, pulling out the figure. And boy, he has a lot of big guns. And again, they're all freaking weird. I'm not a big fan of these GIJoe classified guns. I mean, some people have called them Nerf guns, and those are all of his accessories. And if you look at his face, he kind of reminds me of Chuck Liddell, the MMA fighter. So this is Chuck Liddell, not Gung Ho. And again, you have that tattoo. I totally hate this tattoo. I know there's guys I've seen on Facebook that are removing that and putting the actual Marine tattoo. I think I want to do that somewhere down the road. And here are all of the versions, version 1, so to speak, all together. And again, the backpack is wonderful that you could store things, but man, if you just sneeze, all that stuff falls right off. So it's good to just put it away. See, I can't even fit all of them at once. I know ACC was able to get all of them on, but he's a wizard, so I don't know how he did that. But again, when you compare it to the version 1, yeah, that's a Marine. Oh, and I have to make a footnote. Leatherneck is the actual Marine. And it's funny because he's more of the Marine ground troopers. And and here's the thing, if you're not you have to love Giraffe Pants Leatherneck. Then you'd be considered a real G.I. Joe fan. Because it's so bad that you have to love this figure. And I'm adamant about that. I tell people, get this figure. All right, before I jump into the mythos, I think I'd be remiss if I didn't point out another thing. And that is, this is actually a G.I. Joe figure that reuses parts. So, again, you can't have G.I. Joe without swapping parts. And we see here that Gung Ho has the exact copy of the Cobra Island roadblock. And it's just inverted. For example, his grenade pouch is on the left leg here, and it's on the right leg on roadblock. And the paint applications on his shin pads, you see where Gung Ho has it and roadblock does not. So the belt, even if you see the belt buckle there and there are the exact same. So hey, that's now that makes it feel like G.I. Joe right there. Gung Ho's popularity and fanfare can be mostly attributed to the Sunbow cartoon. He makes his first appearance in the introduction and first miniseries, A Real American Hero Mass Device. He retained his Cajun accent and heritage from the file card. I think what attracted kids to him was his tough, yet playful, hard, yet approachable presence. He's the Joe you either want to be or wanted to have as your buddy. We use Gung Ho's Order of Battle appearance to discuss his file card, perhaps one of the top 5 file cards of all time. His hometown, Fer-de-Lance, isn't real, but it's actually a real venomous snake in South America. A bare-knuckle brawler and prize knife fighter in his teen years, one of the few things the bottom quote has an actual source. In this case, Zap talks about an insight into his personality. Gung Ho's first appearance comes in issue number 11 of the G.I. Joe Marvel run. The funny thing about this issue is that he appears without his shirt and bare-chested in the middle of the Arctic. So just like with Quick Kick in the Sunbow series, I always found that kind of comical that he shows up bare-chested in the freezing cold. Man, he's tough. I'm sorry to say, but the Classified's Gung Ho is a complete dud. From the Chuck Liddell-like sculpt to that weird, not so politically correct tattoo on his chest, the clunky guns. It's just sad to see such a beloved figure, and this one is kind of a major disappointment. Well, anyway, I mean, if you like it, that's great, but I'm kind of disappointed with this figure. Well, anyway, that's the recap. This is Shibu RU signing off.